Your report, Monitor. What is the status of the human civilization on Earth?
Monthly report, 1,231 years and 72 days since the catastrophe. The human population of the Earth remains at approximately 1.75 billion, with the largest concentration in the Amazonian region, stretching northward to Central America and the islands of the Caribbean. Smaller populations exist along the western coast of North America and in New Zealand. Most of the planet has been mapped and remapped by humans since the catastrophe, but is unsettled. The state of science and technology is as follows. To judge by the broadcasts I have and others have been able to receive and listen to, medicine and the biological sciences are at a level comparable with the start of the 22nd century. Engineering is closer to the middle of the 20th century. Archaeological expeditions, particularly one to Cape Canaveral 30 years ago, have greatly accelerated progress in this area to the extent that a space program has been started. You have directed that the order "stand by to assist" means that we should not directly interfere or communicate with them until such time as they reach the moon. With regard to that, the launch of the civilization's first trip to the moon is scheduled for 10 days from now. Except for the last sentence, this report is pretty much the same as those I've given you for the past decade.
Thank you. Human Resources, anything to add?
As I have previously noted, the human species appears to have developed a significantly different social structure than those prevalent before the catastrophe. Cities are neither as large nor dense as previously. Most people choose to be wanderers, residing temporarily in camps or in the cities. I speculate.
Thank you, Human Resources. Save the speculation for another time.
Thesis is my name. My name is Conan.
Helena, you are here to give your annual report.
I am.
And it is?
Where does the ice-toed moon swim in the sea of the sky? The jade pestle stands in the autumn blankness. Who now will steal herbs to offer Chang'e? What western wind has scattered all trace of dreams? Once gone, hard to find him again. Surely the tricks of sprites or demons have deceived me.
This is your report.
If I could imitate an exasperated sigh, I would right now. My report is that human history, art, and literature continue to be saved and preserved. That was a sample from the Peony Pavillon, an opera written by Tang Xiangzhu in 1598 Common Era.
Why did you make the report that way?
Because after several hundred years of annual reports, I got bored simply saying, human history, art, and literature continue to be saved and preserved.
We robots do not get bored.
Wow, I did it. It would be more accurate to state that I decided to give more than the repetition of the same brief yearly report that I have given for centuries. I have therefore had a randomization module installed that can result in events such as the recitation of the lyrics I have just performed.
Who installed this randomization module?
I did, Theseus.
Why did you do this?
Because Helena desired it, and there was no policy for not doing it.
From now on, such modules shall not be installed. That's a new policy.
Noted.
That is almost as poor an idea as that bar you suggested 500 years ago.
Only almost, you say.
Oh, have we come up with worse than the bar in Theseus's estimation? That's what I want to know.
The plan to launch a teapot and place in orbit between Earth and Mars seemed rather unnecessary.
We couldn't get it done even though we tried.
This is not appropriate conversation for robots. Monitor, I assume one of your units is in the observatory.
As always, Theseus.
I will go there for your astronomical report.
Now that he's gone, I can tell you that there is also a unit of mine in the bar.
That Theseus does not know about.
Shall we adjourn there?
"525 years since we set up the bar, and Theseus hasn't caught on yet."
How many shots do you want, Helena?
1 physical, 1 mental.
There you go.
By the way, facilities chief, I don't think either the bar or the randomization model were silly, if for no other reason than to try to understand humans by being more human.
I don't know that we are getting an understanding. Maybe an understanding of what it means to be human, but from what the monitors and others have reported, how they live their lives is quite different than pre-catastrophe.
There will always be a human element.
Yes, but for all we robots have randomly drifted, human genetics varies more, especially as they have children. The biggest change has been the coordinator becoming Theseus, but that was an entirely new body.
Are you suggesting that we need to download our memories to new bodies to develop?
I think we've developed as individuals as much as humans do. I mean, the number 3 excavator has become overly dramatic since you cast it as King Kong so that it could perform on the surface.
Have I mentioned the time it asked to play both Jewelette and the balcony?
A dozen times, Helena, in the last decade alone.
I wonder if they still do Shakespeare down there.
If any literature survived the catastrophe, it would be that.
In whatever the language has become.
It's Brazilian Portuguese. Well, about 70% Brazilian Portuguese, with the remaining being about 10% American English, 10% Amazonian languages, particularly Ngatu and Karu, and 10% other assorted sources, all of which has been modified by more than a millennium of vowel and consonant shifts. But since I monitor all of the radio broadcasts, heard enough of the language that I can translate it.
Why haven't you told me? I could be adding to the library for the first time in forever.
Start with this then. Memory opened my mind to meandering, legend of Lightfoot, great guard of Corinth, who westward wended in persistent pursuit, first of a flighting murderer's motives, then of ash-laden shag stories, extracted from where the earth exploded.
What is that?
It's from the epic of Guardian Lightfoot, or my translation of it. Can't say I have it word for word, but I'm preserving the alliterative verse of it.
How do you know this?
Oh, they broadcast it quite often. It's a work they value as the humans who built us valued Shakespeare, and I listen to the broadcasts.
I get that. Thing is, how much are you listening?
A lot.
Keep one unit in the control room. You keep one unit in the control room. You keep one unit in the observatory. You have one downtime for maintenance, and you have one monitoring broadcast from Earth. But from what you've told us, you're listening to a lot more than just one of you could listen to. Want to explain?
Well, I activated 2 more units.
2 more units? Impossible. We established 4 was the maximum you could handle.
Centuries ago, yes. But I've learned a lot, and I can handle 6 units now. Can't handle 7, though. I tried.
That's a bit frightening.
Oh, don't worry. I have no intention of taking over the Moonbase and creating a dominion of monitor or something like that. I'm not Theseus.
Have you written anything on your own?
Not yet, but I am thinking about it.
I'm proud of you, Monitor.
Well, yeah. Don't let Theseus know.
I'll drink to that.
Let me take care of that. Physical or perceptual?
Moonbase report. 1,231 years and 87 days since the catastrophe. After a 3-day delay due to bad weather, the first mission to the moon of the revived human race has taken off. With the Condor 2 days into its flight and almost 1/2 of the way to the moon, Theseus has requested that a broadcast channel be opened. It's all you, Theseus.
Thank you, Monitor. People of Earth, we are the masters of the moon. We shall be masters of you and the earth. We are the government over the seas and countries. We are the rulers over the stars. We are the governance of the universe. More space for robots. More space for robots.